Alright, so let's get into this. I'll start off this video as always. As I always say, I do not believe Cincinnati will make an in-season trade before deadline of week 9. Again, like I said, is it possible? Yeah. And I know right now everyone and their mother pretty much is trying to create a storyline of why the Bengals trade for this guy or this guy or this guy. Because, that's what people want to see. But at the end of the day, the Bengals have done 5 in-season trades since 1972. Now, all 5 of them have been successful. All 5 of them have been very good. I saw someone comment on a video recently and said, what about the whole BJ Hill trade? Well, BJ Hill trade didn't actually happen in season. It actually happened on August 30th, which was a week and a half before the season started. The Billy Price for BJ Hill trade. So, again, like I said, in-season trades, 5 of them since 1972. The Bengals are a team that likes to keep who they have and work with what they have and then figure it out with that. They don't like to go out there and try to find somebody else to replace people. They have faith in their 53-man roster. They build it for a reason, right? A lot of teams, when it's the 53-man roster, are like, oh, you know what? We trust these guys as long as they're doing good. But the second they do bad, we're jumping ship. The Bengals aren't like that. The Bengals are very good at keeping with, we trusted these guys throughout their, the season so far. We're going to trust them until the end of the season, right? We're going to ride till the wheels fall off, pretty much. Well, Pro Football Focus has a salary cap expert named Brad here, right? And he went ahead and dropped his trade options this week for the Cincinnati Bengals. And his trade option for the Bengals was Indianapolis Colts Mo Alie-Cox with a 4th round pick as a trade the franchise should make. First off, I'm going to tell you right now, there is a 0% chance the Bengals would ever trade a 4th round pick for Mo Alie-Cox. If they're going to trade for a tight end, the most draft capital they'll probably give up, if they give up any draft capital, and it's not like a player swap, is most likely going to be, at best, a 5th or later. It's not going to be a 4th. It's going to be a 5th or later. They're not going to give up that much capital / resources for anybody. Especially when they, again, do truly believe we picked up Irv Smith this offseason. He has to get going. We have Tanner Hudson. We have, I almost said Mo Alie-Cox. We have Mitchell Wilcox. We have, Drew Sample. They believe in these guys. They're bringing these guys, both of those guys, Wilcox and Sample, bringing them back after last season, and really thinking that they can be productive in this offense. They didn't bring them back for no reason. They truly believe in them. So if they're going to bring in a new name, a new guy, they're going to have to, again, have faith that Mo Alie-Cox can get the job done. Now, he does say here that he is on a 2-year, $8.8 million contract. So let's just kind of shave that off, 4.4 each year. Now, could we give a 4th round pick if they still pay part of the contract? That's a potential. Maybe if it was like, hey, listen, you pay 60% of the contract left, and we'll give you a 4th round pick instead. Maybe they do that, but when it comes to straight up deal, I don't think it's going to happen. He does say right here, Mo Alie-Cox signs an extension last offseason that runs through 2024. But now that the quarterback Anthony Richardson has been lost for the season, perhaps Indianapolis clears some room for in-house extensions and lets the young youth at the tight end fully take over. The Bengals have the league's lowest graded tight end room, 45.1. And could use another dimension in their offense, with Mo Alie-Cox providing a solid blocking off the tackle and a solid territory option down in the red zone. With his huge frame, Mo Alie-Cox has 6 career drops on 134 targets and would allow Cincy to roll out different personnel packages and clear some rushing lanes for Joe Mixon. And again, yes, I always will agree 1,000% of the time that, the better players you have, the better you can do, right? And obviously, you're always trying to improve this roster as much as humanly possible. So if you don't know who Mo Alley-Cox is, just a little refresher course here. He was, of course, drafted in 2017 by the Indianapolis Colts. He's 267 pounds. He's 6'5", so he is a big body, big size tight end / blocker. He is actually a very good blocker, and he's also a good receiving threat. Now, so far this season, you can see his grades, but let's go ahead and talk about his stats. So here, this season so far, he's had he played seven games. He has started 3 of them. 4 receptions, 61 yards, and 1 touchdown this year. Last year, 189 yards, 3 touchdowns, 28 receptions. So totally, not the greatest reception rate. I mean, he did have 9 targets that he did not catch last year. Obviously, as it says, only 6 drops, which means, again, the catches, the passes could be, over his head or uncatchable, stuff like that, or just a bad pass. But throughout his career, yeah, he's been a very consistent, tight end. 142 receptions, 142 targets, 93 receptions, 81 games played, 30 games started, and he's not a bad option, right? And I think this is really another name you just throw in the cog here, right? You're just like, okay, well, so far people have listed, Mike Gesicki, they have listed Hunter Henry, they have listed pretty much every tight end that moves, Kyle Pitts, Darren Waller. And I could just probably list more and more tight ends as, the day goes on. And I agree, we do need a tight end, right? But at the end of the day, we also got to look at one important thing. Will that tight end work in all offense? Because I've said this before when it comes to Volson, and I think it's very important, not a lot of people are realizing is because there was a point of the season where people were like, we got to trade for a left guard. Trade for left guard. Go get somebody. Go get somebody. Go get somebody. But just because you go and get somebody doesn't mean they're going to come in and be as productive as you want them to be, right? If the offensive struggles are already a mess, right? And we're running every single play out of shotgun. We're very predictable. Our receivers aren't getting open. Our tight ends aren't getting open. If you go out there and trade for a tight end, trade for a left guard, let's say, for example, and you get one of the best left guards in the game, is our offensive struggles going to go away? No. Is that guy going to be put in the same spot as Bolton? Yes. Is he going to potentially play better? Absolutely. But let's say you get someone who is not the best. Let's say you get someone who is average or above average. He's going to end up looking like Volson in the end because of the fact that our offense as a whole is a problem. It's not just one position or one player, right? Now, you might say, well, but that's the point. You want to slowly break down the problems. But when you start picking out different things around the NFL and different players and you're putting it on the team like a Band-Aid, what you're doing is you're not going to fix the problem. You're trying to create solutions that might simply not work or just simply are not going to fix the overall problem. You're trying to fix the problem. You're trying to create a way to kind of forget about the problem right now and not fix it, right? And that's the problem is you're creating like, oh yeah, we trade for this guy, we put this guy. It doesn't mean it's going to fix the problem. What you have to do is fix the problem. And the problem is play calling. And that's the real thing at the end of the day here, right? Is I think if play calling is better, overall wise, if we were less predictable with our running shotgun every single play, a lot more things would look better. Volson would look better, I think. Irv Smith would look better. Our receivers will look better. A lot of things will look better, right? Now, I think one big key point that Brad puts in his article here that's very important is the idea of different personnel packages, right? So what he's saying is this guy is not just going to be your typical Mike Gesicki, Hunter Henry tight end who comes in, he's a vertical threat. He gives you that blocking aspect that lets you run, triple tight end packages, double tight end packages, a heavy side on the left-hand side. He lets you get that ability to do that, and that is very important. And I really like that he pointed that out, because that does push a little bit more of the narrative of this is less than putting a Band-Aid on a problem and more now trying to help the play calling. But again, like I said before, I don't think they're going to make a trade at all. I do not believe they will. But even if they do make a trade, hypothetically speaking, it's not going to fix the problem. It's not. Like, at the end of the day, we're just putting Band-Aids on a problem that needs to be looked at and needs to be fixed. I mean, it's like, your arm gets cut off and you put a Band-Aid on it. You're not going to sit there and say, oh, I feel good, guys. I feel great. You'll be like, oh, Band-Aid, nice. Is that Scooby-Doo? That's Scooby-Doo. I like Scooby-Doo. Like, you're not going to fix it. Come on now. Tell me down below your thoughts and opinions. I'll see you guys next one. Peace.